What is going on, guys? I am the BA Tutor, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys why the business analyst role is the best way to start your tech career. So if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in becoming a business analyst, I have plenty of courses on that, high level as well as detail level courses. You guys can always check the description for that. So let's hop into it. All right, so if you're interested in all things business analyst, technology in general, this is the right place to be. So I'm going to lay out a couple of reasons why I believe the business analyst role is the best way to start your career in tech. So if you don't know what it is, go ahead and check out my videos. I've got plenty of information on the role and what it's about and everything else in between. But if you've heard about it and you're like, yeah, maybe I want to get into technology, this is kind of something I've been thinking about. Whatever the case is or whatever the reason may be, let me tell you why I believe you're making the right call, okay? The role of a business analyst compared to the other roles in technology just allows you to do so much more, okay? Now let's start with kind of why I believe the BA role allows you to have the best path to getting into technology. And the number one reason for that is going to be the skill set, all right? And more importantly, I'm going to put right here, versatility, all right? What do I mean by that? The business analyst role is a role that allows you to have a number of different skill sets that other roles don't. So for instance, as a business analyst, depending, on the company, but for the most part, in general, the business analyst role will have this. You are going to be having some sort of oral communication skills. You'll be having interpersonal skills. You'll have to use some facilitation skills. Problem solving comes into play here. Analytical thinking, critical thinking, organization skills. You get my point here. The business analyst role really requires you to have all of these things as a skill set. And that is going to be important because as you get into technology, that will allow you to branch into different roles. There's a bunch of different roles that exist, right? You've got product managers, you've got program managers, you've got scrum masters, you've got, development team, coders, etc., developers. You've got a number of different roles, but all of them are very siloed, very specific into what they need, and the skill set's very specific and narrow to where if you enter in that role, that's kind of the path you would go down. Whereas if you start as a business analyst, you can go down to multiple paths. As a business analyst, you can start out as a BA and you can become a project manager. You could become a product manager. You could become a scrum master. You could become a lot of things. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys the skill set that you gain as a BA, it's understated, the versatility, it's very, very crucial and it's very beneficial. So to me, that's one of the biggest selling points for why you need to become a BA to start your tech career. All right, so that was the first kind of big benefit. Let's talk about the second one. And by the way, if you are interested in how to break into tech and whatnot, check out my other videos as well, talk about that. All right, so the second one that I'm going to tell you why the business analyst role is the perfect way to start your tech career is also the flexibility, right? It kind of goes in part with the first one where you get the flexibility to kind of go into whatever position path you want to go to, but also flexibility in the sense that we know in today's environment, you can work remote, work from anywhere you want. IT is such a great field. Just in general, you get the ability to not have to be in the office, right? Same thing with the business analyst role, but I'll take it a step further. And I'll also say this. You get the flexibility of, again, what path you want to kind of go in, whether that's more business facing or whether that's a little bit more technical, right? You may or may not have heard you can be a technical business analyst. Like there's a tech side to it. So it also allows you to have that sort of flexibility where not only am I kind of deciding what path I want to go down to, but I'm also, kind of deciding between the main two, which is, right, you got the line in here, you've got the folks that want to be on the business side of things here, right? Front facing, customer facing. And then you got the folks here that really, really want to be on the technical side. And so you kind of get that flexibility starting off as a BA to have that decision on which side you kind of want to go into. And again, being able to work from anywhere, understated, very, very important thing. I love it, being in technology as well. So that's something that you can get for a lot of other roles as well. But certainly there's some roles maybe you don't get it, but for the business analyst role, you certainly do. And finally, number 3, I'm going to say that the compensation, if you will. Now, let's just be frank about this. Technology as a whole is great for compensation, no matter what roles you do. But when we're talking about the compensation, you need to take into account kind of what the skill set requires. Now, the business analyst role does demand you to have a number of different skill sets, but you don't have to have kind of the boot camp training of a developer, if you will, where if you don't know the code, you will absolutely not, be successful. But as a business analyst, it all depends on what the company kind of needs, right? And so it's not always one size fits all, versus if a company basically just says, and I'm going to use the developer example again, if you need to code in Java, you need to know how to code in Java. If they want to code in Python, if they want you to do so, you got to be able to know Python. The business analyst role, not so much. Different companies will have different needs, but at the end of the day, yeah, you definitely have to have the skill set. But the compensation is pretty good starting out. You'll be able to get some competitive salaries as well, and you don't necessarily have to feel like you have to take a bunch of these classes and boot camps, if you will. You just have to have the proper experience. You have to be able to know your way around the role and kind of what it's about. But that's a selling point in tech in general, right? Compensation is very good. So these 3 things to me make up the exact reasons for why I believe the business analyst role is the perfect way to start your tech career. The skill set that it allows you to have, the flexibility that you get, and the compensation, you can't deny that. And also, I'll throw in a 4th one here. We're talking about kind of the future of the industry, right? Or not the future of the industry, the future of the world. Technology is the place to be. We all know where everything's headed, where everything being modernized, and tech is kind of leading everything here. And so you're kind of in the field that's the most innovative field, and that's the field of the future. And the most advancements are going to be made here, right? So keep that in mind. And by the way, compensation, we know the richest men in the world, in the world are all in the tech field, or majority of them, are in the tech field. So enough said about that. So with that being said, these are the reasons why. So I hope that explains to you guys and encourages you to maybe pursue a career in tech if that's something that you guys were thinking about before this video, and hopefully you do so after.